Hello and welcome back to Neeti Tech. This is part 4 of our Cloud Practitioner exam question series. And today we are diving into the thrilling world of domain, security and compliance. This domain covers 25% of the score content in the actual exam. Before we jump into the questions, if you want to test on these questions, scan the QR code at the end of the video or check out the link in the description box for a free Google quiz. Let's get started. Question number 1. Which duties are the responsibility of a company that is using AWS Lambda? Choose 2. Security inside of code, selection of CPU resources, patching of operating system, writing and updating of code, or the security of underlying infrastructure. Now, coding is like a personalized tailored suit built to match your specific requirements. So naturally, the company handling AWS Lambda is responsible to write and update their own code that matches their requirements. And when you are in the control of code, you are also the guardian of its security. So the correct combination here is A and D. Rest all options are taken care by AWS. Moving on to the next question. Which documentation does AWS Artifact provide? Amazon EC2 terms and conditions, AWS ISO certifications, history of company's AWS spending, list of previous generation EC2 instances. AWS Artifact is like your one-stop shop for security and compliance documents like AWS ISO certifications. Hence the correct answer is B. Rest options do not form a part of AWS Artifact service. Moving on to the next questions. Which task requires using AWS account root user credentials? Viewing billing information, changing the AWS support plan, starting and stopping Amazon EC2 instances, or opening an AWS support case. Meet the root user, the VIP of AWS accounts. These are the credentials using which you have created your AWS account. Hence, it has some superpowers using which you can do high-level and confidential tasks like updating support plan, updating your payment information, or even closing the AWS account. Hence, the correct answer is B. Other activities listed here can be done by other IAM users also, provided they have the required privileges. Moving on to our next question. According to the AWS shared responsibility model, what responsibility does a customer have when using Amazon RDS to host a database? Managing connections to the database, install Microsoft SQL Server, design encryption at rest strategies, or apply minor database patches. Amazon RDS is like having a personal database genie, handling all the heavy lifting. But since you own the data, you would like to manage the connections to the database. Giving the power to AWS would mean giving away your data, which obviously no one would want. Hence, the correct answer is A. Other listed options are taken care by AWS in the shared responsibility model. Moving on to the next question. Which AWS service will help protect applications running on the AWS from DDoS attacks? Amazon GuardDuty, AWS PAF, AWS Shield, or Amazon Inspector. Let's look at the options. GuardDuty provides threat detection service, hence this option is ruled out. WAF provides protection against certain types of DDoS attacks, but it is not primarily designed for DDoS protection. Inspector assesses applications for vulnerabilities or deviations from the best practices. Do not provide protection against DDoS attacks, while Shield is specifically designed for providing protection against DDoS attacks. Hence, the correct answer is C. Shield Standard is automatically enabled for all AWS customers at no additional cost, and Shield Advanced is an optional paid service which gives you protection against advanced DDoS attacks. Moving on to our next questions. Which AWS service or feature acts as a firewall for Amazon EC2 instances? Network ACL, Elastic Network Interface, Amazon VPC, or a security group? Network ACLs provide security at subnet level, while the question is asking for security at EC2 instance level. Hence, first answer A is not the correct answer. VPC and ENI do not act as a firewall. VPC is a logically isolated section of the AWS cloud, and ENI is attached to VPC to carry traffic. but security groups acts as a virtual firewall for your EC2 instances to control all the incoming and outgoing traffic. Hence, the correct answer is D. Moving on to the next question. Which tasks are the responsibility of AWS according to the AWS shared responsibility model? Patch the Amazon EC2 guest operating systems, upgrade the firmware of the network infrastructure, apply password rotation for IAM users, maintain the physical security of edge locations, maintain least privilege access to the root user account. Now, as you know, AWS owns the infrastructure, hence the firmware upgrade of network infrastructure and physical security of edge locations are the responsibility of AWS. Hence, the correct answer is B and D. Other aspects like patching of guest operating system, applying password protection, password rotation, and managing least privileged accesses are the responsibility of the customer. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following are features of network ACLs as they are used in AWS Cloud? Choose 2. They are stateless, they are stateful, they evaluate all rules before allowing traffic, they process rules in order starting with the lowest number rule when deciding whether to allow traffic, and all they operate at the instance level. Network ACLs like to keep things stateless and follow rules in a numerical order. Hence, the correct answers are A and D. And just a point to remember, network ACLs operate at the subnet level and not at the instance level. Moving on to the next question. A company has deployed applications on EC2 instances. The company needs to assess application vulnerabilities and must identify infrastructure deployments that do not meet the best practices. Which AWS service can the company use to meet these requirements? AWS Trusted Advisor, Amazon Inspector, AWS Config, or Amazon Guard Duty. Amazon Inspector is an automated vulnerability management service that continuously scans AWS workloads for software vulnerabilities. So the correct answer here is B. Whenever a question asks about vulnerability management, check for Amazon Inspector. Moving on to the next question. A company recently deployed an Amazon RDS instance in its VPC. The company needs to implement a stateful firewall to limit traffic to the private corporate network. Which AWS service or feature should the company use to limit traffic directly to its RDS instance? Network ACLs, security groups, AWS WAF, or Amazon Guard Duty. When it's about controlling traffic at the instance level, security groups are your trusty, stateful firewall. So the correct answer is B. Just to reiterate some points here, NACL are stateless and they operate at the subnet level. WAF is a web application firewall that helps protect your web applications from common web exploits, but it is not used for controlling access to Amazon RDS instances. And Guard Duty is a threat detection service and does not act as a firewall. Now, if you want to tackle these questions for yourself in a Google quiz, check the QR code or the link in the description. Do not forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon for more brain-teasing AWS content. We are your partners in this cloud learning journey. Thanks for joining us today. If you have specific questions that you would like us to tackle, drop them in the comments. Until next time, keep watching, keep rocking.